Okay, so here's the wax we carved yesterday. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you different ways that it can be sand cast. So we're going to set it aside. We're going to take this side of our flask. It's got the edge on it. The edge is going to go down. We're going to take our clay, fill it about halfway. Works great to push it in with the thumb. You could take a wooden dowel and push it in. But you want to get it so it's nice and compact and out to the edge. I'll put a little more in there. Now you could hammer this if you want. I'm finding lately that this works pretty good just like this. Okay. At this point you're going to want to scrape this off. So you want this nice and flat. You want it flush with the edge. Because once you flip it over, you want it to sit flat. And you don't want to be able to push on this and have it sink. So we're going to clean off right here where we don't want it to prevent the two halves from going together well. And then you're going to take your talc that like that, and now we've got our wax. Now I like to have room for a sprue, maybe at least a ½ inch. Now this wax is flat, so you could take something like this that has a flat bottom on it, and you could actually push it straight down in. Now since this side has the vents, you're going to want to push this down at least halfway. And then we'll take a little more talc, put it on there, and now you're going to take your other half of the flask, you're going to put that in place. Make sure it's down all the way around. And you're going to take a little more clay, push it in there, get it really down good all around the edges. We'll add some more in there. Push this down. A lot of people have different styles for sand casting. This is just how I do it. I even change it up a little now and then. Kind of depends on the pattern I like to test different things, and if I find something that works better, then I'll make a change. But so far this method works really good. So now you want to set this down flush on something and pull it apart. You want to pull it straight apart. Now you can see a little bit of the clay is popping up, and so you just take something flat and push it down. Just like that. So now we have the two halves. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with this side. Because this is rounded, I like to use my thumb to create this. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but it seems to work good for me. Once I have that done, then we need to create a sprue. And the sprue can be done with a rod like this, or you could have like the end of a paintbrush. Whatever you have around that's like a tube. And you want to keep this all smooth. No sharp edges. If you have sharp edges, then you're going to create a sharp edge that the metal could hit and break it off. Rounded edges are best. So this half is all done. We created a nice sprue, a nice funnel, and we push down that extra clay right there. And you also want to check that this channel is nice and clean. So we'll set that aside, and now we'll move on to this half. Now what we want to do, I should have grabbed a tweezer, but we just want to, you can probably wiggle that. It might pop out. Just want to be careful. Push that back down. There, so that's good. So now we're going to take and create our funnel again. Just like that. Make sure that there's nothing on the edge of the flask here. We'll take our same size sprue. Round these edges. So the next thing you're going to want to do is add your vents in. Now, I don't like to go all the way up to the piece, but I like to push down and pull back. When you're done, you want these vents to be nice and clean and unobstructed. Now, like the back side of an X-Acto blade, this knife should work pretty good. This part of the vent doesn't need to be that big. You know, it's just air and gases that are going to escape. And so now at this point, now you could make those vents a little bigger, but I found that various pieces don't require big vents, but maybe we'll just expand them a little bit. The problem for me is I can't see well enough behind a camera. But I think I'm getting these pretty good. Okay, so now we have nice vents that don't have any obstruction in them. Nice sprues that are rounded. And these two halves are ready to go together and have the metal poured. So in the next video, I'll show you another way to set up the flask. All right, thank you.